Was there an eclipse?
That didn't take long.
Was there? Which
Yeah.
one? Was it the big one?
It was the big one.
I'm so disappointed I missed that. Missed it. Did you get to see the whole
Yes, we did. And we drove down to Bells, Texas, the metropolis of Bells, Texas, about 2 counties south of the Red River. And I'm guessing there's about 300 people that live there.
I was going to say, probably more than 300, though, in town for the event.
Oh, my gosh, it was packed. This is kind of unscheduled, but if you want to pull up Max 3, I literally just got these pictures a little bit ago and brought them from Facebook because the memories reminded me of when we were down there.
That's awesome.
So we drove, it's about 3.5 hours south, and we watched it. It was absolutely amazing. And I've never seen a total eclipse. Obviously, those 2 children have never either. They thought it was pretty neat. We just found a field out there, and we got our little blanket and snacks and food and made a day of it. I mean, we spent about 7.5 hours driving there and back, but I'd say it was totally worth it. It was really, really cool experience. So I don't know if that's weather trivia, just all in all atmospheric trivia. That was 2 years ago today. And I remember, too, a lot of folks were looking at the satellite and trying to, there were clouds, but there were breaks in them. So they were really trying to hope that they would clear out.
Right.
A lot of them did. Oh, I remember this, too. This is crazy. The clouds were there. Kind of, I'd say mostly cloudy, partly cloudy. During the eclipse, they actually cleared out, which makes sense because you lose the warming and you lose the lift. So it literally cleared the sky. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing experience. So,
do you know, I'm going to throw a crazy question at you you're not prepared for, but
okay.
You might know the answer. When is the next big
I believe it was supposed to be 20 years from that eclipse. Okay. 20 years. So what would that make it? 2044? And I do know
kids in that photo will definitely be adults.
Yes. And I do know for the next one, the path of totality will be over Oklahoma City. So we won't have to go that far. Okay, here we go. August 12th. Oh, wait, that's not the one. August 12th, 2045.
Okay.
Well, okay.
I'll write that down.
Yeah, write that in your calendar, assuming you still have the same phone, right?
Something tells me I won't.
Man, that's going to be awesome. So something to look forward to, I guess. All right. So it's pretty nice weather the last couple of days. There has been a lot of talk about what's coming, and that is going to be chances of not only widespread rainfall, which is really good, but also the risk of some severe weather that will come into our forecast future. So it's going to be basically Friday for parts of our state, Saturday night, heavy rainfall, and then depending on what happens with the rainfall Sunday morning, possibility of reloading things Sunday afternoon. You probably know this as, one of these things where the next day depends on what happens the day before.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be Sunday. So if it rains a lot Sunday morning and continues and doesn't clear out, that's good. That means just good rainfall. But if it clears out and we get some late morning or midday sun, then we will reload the atmosphere, we will warm it up again, and that will make things more volatile potentially later on. So a lot to watch. I guess we'll go through some of our currents here and take a look and look outside as we've had lots of sunshine today. That's a time lapse from this morning of our Rose State camera. Really cool zoomed in view. You can see the state capitol to the right. You can see OU Med Complex right there and some of the other buildings. And here's a different time lapse from our 50 pen camera looking off to the north and west. Look at that, just clear blue skies. And that's pretty much what we have right now on this April the 8th. And that's a live look here. Not weather related, but there is if you're watching this live, and we're also streaming a press conference about this on our other parts of our website here in K4 Plus, there has been a really bad accident on I-35 between Hefner and Britain. You want to avoid that area. You can actually see it kind of the lower right-hand side of the screen right there. So that is a really sad and bad situation, but we'll cover that all KFOR.com and through our live channels. Okay. Aside from that, weather-wise, 44 in Oklahoma City right now, morning low temperature, 51 in Altus, and we are warmer than this same time yesterday. It was a great day yesterday outside with a little bit of wind. There's more wind out there today, and some of those gusts have been quite excessive. Now gusting to 26 at Will Rogers. It was over 30 miles per hour for much of the morning, and that very well might go back up again here as we go through the afternoon. Live temperatures 40 for us across the board. Low to middle 70s. So really nice day if you don't mind the wind. Here's the winds. Steady wind speeds of about 18 in OKC, 23 in Alva, and some of those higher gusts over 30 miles per hour up near Enid, the east side of Enid and Breckenridge, and then over toward Weatherford, 30 mile per hour wind gust right now. So here's what we're talking about for severe weather chances. The panhandle of Texas, Oklahoma, and southwest Kansas on Thursday. That would be the afternoon and evening hours. Hail and high winds. And notice too, I'll get my little pointer arrow out here. The white coloring that you see on the screen, we'll just kind of, there we go. The white, that's just non-severe thunderstorms, so good rain, lightning, thunder, that kind of stuff. But then as we look toward our Friday, end of the week here, the marginal risk, the 1 out of 5 level risk goes and covers about the northern third of the state of Oklahoma, so high winds and hail with that. And then it just kind of goes from beyond there as far as severe weather risk becoming more widespread. So we're talking about here the severe weather that we had. We're going to look back at that. We've increased the tornado count, unfortunately. We'll take a look at some videos. Absolutely just crazy with all of the rain and thunder that we had last week. And we'll talk about the upcoming chances of severe weather coming up after a short break on What's Up With This Weather. And welcome back to What's Up With This Weather. It is April 8th. Amazing that we're already so far into April. Good afternoon.
It's crazy how far we're into April.
Really happened fast, didn't it?
Summer is going to be here in no time.
Oh my goodness, it will. It's going to be pool season soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be beach season, all that stuff. And pretty nice temps outside right now, but we are again looking for the risk of some severe weather. Now, last week, this would have been, let's see here, it would have been Tuesday, March 31st, we had some severe weather. It wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. Wednesday, we had a couple stronger storms. Wasn't really that bad. That was April 1st. And then last Friday, the 3rd, we did have some higher end severe weather and tornadoes, at least 4 of them confirmed from that evening, that late afternoon to evening, stretching across parts of the Oklahoma City metro and then eastward toward Dale and Shawnee and the town of Little, all impacted by either EF1 or EF0 tornadoes. I want to show you the good rainfall that we've gotten throughout last week, and this is really good stuff here across Oklahoma. We needed it. The drought is, of course, very severe, and the new drought monitor comes out tomorrow. I can't wait to see what this has. So this is last week ending on Friday. So if you look, there are parts of central and into eastern Oklahoma that got 5 inches, 5.5 inches south of the metro toward kind of Anadarko and Apache. And then as you go toward Hughes County, that's basically the kind of red and orange bullseye kind of to the south and east of Oklahoma City, 5.81 inches and then 7.53 inches. That is a lot of rain. There was flooding that happened. It kind of came down to fast and furious. However, it did really help our rain gauges quite a bit. So that's really good and impressive. We got some warning. I want to show you all the warnings that came out, and this is only Friday. This doesn't account for the severe weather that we had last Tuesday, and Wednesday wasn't as bad. Look at all these severe thunderstorm warning polygons. So they're overlapping. These obviously weren't all at the same time, but you could see where the storms tracked and traced. There was a cold front, but they were able just to stay out ahead of it because cold fronts can stop tornado genesis, but they were able to stay out just ahead of it. A slew of warnings, dozens of them. So last Friday, let's look at tornado warnings. These started kind of towards sunset. So they started near Mountain View, and then they worked their way through Caddo and Grady counties, just south of I-40, and then into the metro. There actually was a confirmed EF1 tornado that was just east of Will Rogers Airport. There was significant damage at OCCC. A wall was heavily damaged and fell in. There were lots of trees and fences down. It continued along I-40, produced a tornado in the community of Dale, which is east of Shawnee, and then north of the Shawnee Mall, another tornado, and then it continued on and produced the final tornado so far that's been validated near the town of Little, which is near I-40 east of Shawnee. So 4 tornadoes in total. That's all the warnings put together. I laid them on top of each other. So all the tornado warnings in red, all the severe thunderstorm warnings in yellow, and it was a very, very busy day. You could see they also kind of continued on near Fort Smith, and off to the south of all that, there were tornado warnings in Pontotoc County, which is Ada. Big circulation was heading to Ada. Thankfully, the front came in and undercut it, which basically stopped the rotation. So that was really good news for Ada, but it wasn't looking good for a while as that was moving its way toward that area. So I want to show you what it looked like, kind of put you in the driver's seat with some of our storm trackers from that night. There were lots of winds and twisting winds with this. I think we're going to start out here. This looks like Mark Dillard here. So this is on I-40, and I mean, the windshield wipers are going as fast as they can. Mm-hmm. Look at that.
Hard to keep up.
It's just a hurricane, really. Yeah. You can't even see the lines in the road. You can barely see them.
It would be very challenging to drive, and I would say, I feel like the weather people would be saying, this would be a good time to stay off the roads, wait for the rain to pass, wait for the storm to pass.
Yeah, and I mean, he's probably, I would estimate, going about 15, 20 maybe.
Not fast at all.
No. I mean, I'm just looking at how quickly the signs are moving by. They're not moving that maybe 20 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's Hydroplane City right there. So he's slowing down and lots of wind and spray. Let's go to the next one with Steve Johnson and the Interceptor. I know I can tell it's the Interceptor because you can. How can you tell?
I don't know.
Those lights at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glowing neon lights.
Yep, he's got the lights going.
You can see the big lift there on it as well.
Yeah, he's about a foot higher there. He's up higher. So what's interesting about this is this was live on the air during our severe weather coverage. He was reporting the winds were absolutely, this is going eastbound, so kind of put some reference on it, eastbound I-40. And he was talking about winds whipping from the right to the left. So that would have been south to north. And then as you look here, maybe just the last couple seconds, it was actually going the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. So what happened is the tornado had really crossed right in front of him. It went to the north of the road, so it would have been the left-hand side of the video here. And then as it spun off to the north, it drew in winds on the backside, which would have to him come in from the left as north winds. I think right here they're north. I think you can see maybe. It almost looks like it. North would be left to right in the video. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a sign that, he was very close to the tornado. He was right there. And that's the one that produced twice in Dale, Oklahoma, and then north of Shawnee. The one that was northwest of Shawnee Mall was an EF1 tornado, and there was some damage associated with that. Some large trees were taken down, and we actually showed some folks cutting them at 11:30 at night because they couldn't get in or out of their driveway out there. So they had chainsaws in hand, and they were going at those trees late in the evening hours. So that was last Friday. We hope to not do that again as we go into this weekend. Coming up, we're going to take a look at some special weather technology that helps us in these heat of the moment type of situations and scenarios with severe weather. We'll look at that, and then a quick look here at the next 7-day plus 4, and we'll show you how many of those red triangles are. Their weather alert days are on there. That's coming up next on What's Up With This Weather. And welcome back to What's Up With This Weather. We are tracking the threat of severe thunderstorms as we head into the upcoming weekend, starting basically from this Friday in northern Oklahoma. That would be the 10th all the way through the 13th or 14th, Monday or Tuesday. So many days of severe weather potential. How do we track this stuff? Okay, well, of course we have radar, we have satellites, we have measurements at the ground, temperature, and dew point and all that stuff. What if we were to combine all those into one?
That sounds fantastic.
Yes, it does help a lot. That is something called MRMS. Right. Let me make sure I get it right here. Multi-radar, multi-sensor system. So it takes weather radars, satellite data, rain gauges, lightning networks, which are ground-based or satellite-based, models, more radar, precipitation, flooding. And what it does is this helps forecasters, us, the National Weather Service, there's so much data overload, it can combine it into all these products that help us out. So in the case of flooding, it'll combine what's going on with the satellite. Are the clouds cooling, which means they're growing in strength? Does radar show that there's more rain coming down? A rain gauge is showing. And then as the storms move, it will say, okay, this storm that's increasing is moving into an environment that has historically flooded at X amount of rainfall and X amount of time. So it does a lot of the thinking that machines can do for us. Now, obviously, we're still making the decisions, okay? This is just a tool that we can look at, but it combines all that. So instead of having to look up, okay, is this basin, how much rain can it handle and what amount of time, it does it for you. And it shows you that as output, and it combines lightning data and all these things to show you and to predict in really short term, next hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, what is going to happen with storms. So it's basically the next generation of weather modeling. Is really, really cool stuff. And no doubt, we're going to be using MRMS as we go toward this weekend. All right, so let's go over to Max here and take a look at the 7-day forecast, because the severe weather threat starts, it's a 1 out of 5 scale on Friday in the afternoon and evening, basically north of I-40, some afternoon storms, some hail, some high winds. Saturday, widespread rain and storms. If it rains all night Saturday and continues Sunday, that will lessen the risk of severe weather Sunday, but give us good rainfall. Then a lot of jet stream energy comes in Monday. That's a severe weather risk day, and potentially even Tuesday, depending on what happens on Monday. So if you're watching this here before the weekend of the 10th, 11th, 12th, that's your time to prepare. And of course, we'll be here on air and online to track the latest. That's all I've got right now.
Hey, that sounds pretty great for What's Up With This Weather.
All right, we'll see you next Wednesday right here, same time, 1:30 for What's Up With This Weather.